Golden's Bridge, New York. 4:46 p.m. Father of three, Ray Romano, is leaving on a business trip to Europe.
Lynn, are you almost done, honey?
Just finishing up. Is it time already?
It's time.
I just made partner in his accounting firm that he worked for his entire life. He was just an all-around good man.
I'll see you next week.
Please call.
Of course.
(7:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. New York's JFK Airport. 215 passengers board Swiss Air Flight 111, bound for Geneva, Switzerland. Ray Romano is in row 9, near the front of the plane.
Does he have a ticket?
No.
No? Is he gonna sit with you?
Yes.
That's okay then.
Captain Urs Zimmermann and First Officer Stefan Löw will fly through the night on the 8-hour journey. "52 minutes into the flight, Swiss Air 111 is cruising at 33,000 feet above the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada.
Riechst du was?
Ja, Mo, ich schmecke da schon etwas da. Aber auch nicht, wo das ist. Schmeckt dir etwas in der Kabine, in der Händler?
Ich kann hier drin riecht es etwas komisch, aber draußen in der Kabine gar nicht, nein.
Nicht, gar nicht?
Nein, gar nicht.
Just air conditioning, huh?
Yeah.
How about we colour in the space rocket?
I'm going to just look for pink and purple.
Thank you. Just perfect.
Irgendwelche Pläne für zu Hause?
Wir können mal segeln an Zürichsee.
Ah, super.
Da ist es eben nicht so gut da. Hm? Schau mal da. Das ist gar nicht so gut.
Captain Zimmermann decides to land and get the plane checked.
Swiss Air 111 Heavy is declaring pan. We have smoke in the cockpit. Request immediate return to a convenient place, please. I guess Boston.
Swiss Air 111 Heavy, go ahead.
Air traffic control tells him Halifax Airport is much closer than Boston, just 122 kilometers away.
Would you prefer to go into Halifax?
Affirmative for Swiss Air 111 Heavy. We prefer Halifax from our position.
The airport prepares for an emergency landing. The smoke has gone, but the pilots still want the plane checked. They use oxygen masks as a precaution and begin to descend.
The captain has turned on the fasten seatbelt sign. We have a problem with the air conditioning, which needs to be rectified before we continue the flight. We'll be detouring into Halifax Airport in Canada.
Moncton Air Traffic Control Center, New Brunswick.
I had a quick look on my radar to see where the aircraft was and estimated that it was about 20 minutes away from the airport.
It's Bill Pickrell's job to guide the plane safely into Halifax.
It was going to be a fairly straightforward operation because they were lined up almost perfectly for a straight approach at that point.
Swiss Air 111, good evening. Can I vector you to set up for runway 06 at Halifax?
Yes, vectors for 6 will be fine, Swiss 111 heavy.
Okay, it's a back course approach for runway 06. We're 30 miles to fly to the threshold.
We need more than 30 miles.
Swiss Air 111, roger, turn left, heading out 0130.
The plane is too high to make it into Halifax on the first pass.
As a general rule, at that distance from the airport, ideally the aircraft would have been down around 10,000 feet. In this case, they were approximately 20,000 feet or slightly above that.
The pilots loop while they descend further.
Swiss Air 111, when you have time, can I have the number of souls on board and the amount of fuel you have left?
Roger, we must dump some fuel. Maybe do that in this area during descent.
My reaction was to turn to my colleague and say, oh no, he has to dump fuel now, and then immediately look to see where it would be safe to do it and at the same time keep him close to the airport.
Pickrell suggests they dump over the airport or detour further and dump over the ocean. The pilots choose the ocean.
It'll be about 10 miles before you're off the coast. You're still within about 25 miles of the airport if you have to get to the airport very quickly.
Okay, that's fine for us. Please tell me when we can start to dump the fuel.
The captain starts Swiss Air's procedure for dealing with smoke of unknown origin.
Captain, bus switch selected, confirm?
He cuts unnecessary power to the cabin.
Excuse me. Should we be concerned at this point? There's no electricity and the aircon's gone off.
No, the captain has assured us there's no need for concern. It's just usual procedure in an emergency landing.
An emergency landing?
There's no need to worry. We'll be landing very shortly. Could you strap her in, please?
Wir haben den Autopiloten verloren. Der Autopilot ist weg. Gott, Stefan, wir haben ein Feuer. Ruf einen Notfall aus.
And we are declaring emergency now, Swiss 111.
Copy that.
Oh my God.
The aircraft is at least 6 minutes from the airport.
In the background, I could hear a master warning tone to the pilots, and I had no idea of what that meant.
Komm schon, mach das!
11 Heavy, we starting dump now. We have to land immediately.
Swiss Air 111, roger.
Wir haben die Hauptflugkontrollanzeige verloren.
We've lost the transponder. Transponder's gone. Come in, Swiss Air 111.
All communication with the plane is lost.
Swiss Air 111, come in.
Air traffic controllers can now only follow its path on their radar.
Swiss Air 111, come in.
We noticed that the aircraft had turned away from the airport and was proceeding westbound down the coast. And that was when we realized that something had gone horribly wrong.
Jesus Christ.
Please, we have seats at the back. Go straight down. My colleagues will help you.
Smoking first class.
For 6 minutes, Bill Pickerel watches the plane's erratic course.
It was a very, very helpless feeling to just sit there and not be able to do anything about it. And suddenly they turned to the south, out toward the open ocean. And the aircraft disappeared.
Oh my God, I think we've lost her. I think we've lost it. Swiss Air 111, come in. Swiss Air 111. Oh my God.
The last radar position of Swiss Air Flight 111 is 9 kilometers from the Canadian shore. As word spreads, local fishermen head to sea, intent on rescuing survivors.
We think nothing of jumping in the boats in the nighttime and going and helping out as much as you can. And it was just a natural thing to do.
It takes Wayne Manuel an hour to reach the site.
You could see the rest of the boats that were out there at the time, but you could smell the fuel from the jet. And as we got closer, you could see debris floating.
865 kilometers away, in Goldens Bridge, New York, Lynn Romano is catching some news.
The pilot managed to radio there was smoke in the cockpit before the plane disappeared off radar at 1,000 feet of altitude.
I saw that there was a plane crash, which always sent chills through me. And I made the sign of the cross because I wanted to, you know, pray for these people, whether they were alive or dead. No one knew then.
It was on a flight out of New York on its way to Geneva. Tom, tell us what you've been seeing and hearing from your position.
The more I watched the news, the more I realized that this was his flight.
All evening long, emergency vehicles have been positioned along the coastline waiting for possible survivors.
I called the 800 numbers. I said, look, you know, it's Swiss Air Flight 111. He's in seat 9F. I have all of the information here. Somebody's got to tell me that he was on this aircraft.
Was it Swiss Air 111?
I knew that it was the same aircraft.
Most of what we seen floating were clothes and pieces of suitcases and shoes and I think we went past one part of the plane at one time. like probably a half a dozen windows out of the side of it. And that was the biggest thing that we've seen, I believe.
Wayne hoped to find survivors.
You always hope, but after you got there and you seen what was floating, you knew that there was nothing